Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
And MyPlayboysBunny.
And welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
And today we're talking about, mating. Or how would you say?
Hi.
At the end of the day, it is all about procreation.
Yeah, it is.
Topic is girls' world. All men are invisible.
Yeah.
And this is something that a lot of men, and I mean like probably 90% or more of men, even men who have been in game, don't realize is that, we guys go, God, it's so easy for girls to get laid. They can just fuck anyone. There's guys everywhere. But the thing is that they don't even see most men.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally invisible. And there's reasons for this. Mm-hmm. That they look out at a football stadium full of men or people, and they might see one or two men actually there.
Yeah.
And kind of explain how this happens. Like, as you move through the world, Bunny, like what you guys see as opposed to what we see.
Right. Well, and I would add that yes. I mean, I like to say pretty often, girls don't have to work real hard to get laid. So I know that that angers a lot of men. But the bottom line is, just because they could get laid doesn't mean they want to get laid by the ones that they're seeing. So that goes to your point about, not even in this football stadium full of men, even eligible men, not necessarily all of them are going to interest her. In fact, maybe two of them in an entire football field or arena are going to be of interest to her.
The default is they're so picky.
Yeah.
And
we have to be, because like you're saying, sex is basically in the end game. Sex is about procreation, and so we have to be cautious of who plants their seed in us. You have to be always thinking as a female about your children, about your future, about your security, about all of the things that go into that one or two guys that are in that football stadium that are attractive to you.
For men, we hit it and then we can get it. We can move on. But for them, it's an 18 to 20 year commitment.
Yeah.
9 months they're down, and then there's years and years of raising offspring from that point on, and you could be dead or on the other side of the world.
Sure.
From an evolutionary psychology standpoint, for men, we see all women. Now, some women are going to be a little bit more attractive, and some will be less attractive. But our job is to impregnate as many women as humanly possible. So we see them all. But for a woman moving through the world, she's looking for one or two donors.
Yeah.
So she can't see. It would be overwhelming for her to see all the men in front of her.
Yes.
The brain does a funny thing where it kind of like filters out noise, and you only see the one or two. Kind of like if you start thinking you want a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
And there's all these cars out there.
Yeah.
And then you start saying, God, there's another G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another G-Wagon.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden you're seeing more G-Wagon, but you're not seeing the other cars.
Yeah.
There's thousands of types of cars.
You don't see the Jeeps or the Land Rovers,
exactly.
or any of the ones that look similar in shape to a G-Wagon.
The girl's brain, she doesn't see the other cars. She doesn't see the other men except for the one or two that hit on all of her, neurons that say, that there's a man in front of me. So it makes it's hard for men to understand that because we see everyone.
Yeah.
Both as a threat or non-threat, but also as, if it's a girl, like, I could fuck her.
Yeah.
I could pull that off. I mean, so it makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint for her not to see most men because it's overwhelming.
Right.
She can't say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no,
Exactly.
Over and over. But it also puts it out there that guys are always like, on the apps, are like, well, she has 6,000 matches. And I did the numbers on one of my tweets now. A girl would knock down 6,000 men to maybe 2.
Yeah.
And it's well, first right off the bat, it's like 90% don't meet. They're overweight, or they're like wearing a baseball cap and glasses.
Yeah.
And then you start narrowing it down from the wrong race.
Yeah.
Don't meet the girl's imagined height, weight, or income levels.
Yeah.
That knocks a lot out. Then at least, 90% are beta. And so then you're like with 2 guys standing.
Yeah.
And so there's far fewer men out there that are available to them than you think.
Sure.
When you're, I've got 5,000 matches. Yeah, but you don't want to have sex with any of them.
Yeah.
So as you move through the world, what tells a girl, let's say you're walking down the street or you're just scanning, or even at the gym, because you can't see all the men at the gym because it'd be impossible, but what goes off that you go, there's a guy, there's an attractive man. What happens to
I think similar to, the way I understand, men, whenever they see a girl that they really are genuinely attracted to, not just like, yeah, I guess I could pull that off thing, but like, you just kind of tingle. I mean, it's just kind of like a spidey senses kind of thing. It's not even something that you think, it's something you feel in your body. And what's funny is you can sense these people. You kind of go, there's a disturbance in the force.
That's interesting.
I've not
heard this before.
It genuinely is just like, you're sensing it and you look around and holy shit, there's a person.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if that comes from like what we're always talking about, like charisma.
Yeah.
Like it kind of because a lot of girls will end up with a guy who's like 5'8", kind of overweight, but he's just got great charisma.
Right.
And she's like, I don't know. There's something about him.
Well, I want to make it really clear because I don't want to nag anybody out here. You all have a chance with someone. You know what I mean? Because we don't want that to come across the wrong way. So whenever I lived in Wisconsin, I had 4 best friends. We worked together day in and day out. It was a charming, wonderful life, and I loved it. All 5 of us could not have been more different. We were all a very unique type. Now, granted, we were all girls, so make no mistake, the same stuff still works on all of us universally. However, as far as our type went, none of us had an overlapping attraction whatsoever. One guy would walk in, and it would be one of us's type, and one of us would get all spidey tingly. And the other ones would be like, ooh, gross.
That is funny.
I mean, my type was very much like well-built, kind of a Cary Grant look. And everyone else thought that was the most disgusting, ridiculous thing ever. So, I mean, and I'm like, how could anything be more gorgeous than this? And so everyone has a type. So every girl's spidey senses aren't going off about the same man. No. Or the same type of man.
No.
We all have what appeals to us, what speaks to our tingles, and what attracts and pulls us in.
And see, I've seen that. I've heard that described from the PUA side.
Yeah.
That the guys are like, if she likes, say, the biker type.
Right.
Or a musician type.
Exactly.
And you're the button-down collar, khaki pants, it's just not going to work for her.
Exactly.
And you're better off spending your time with girls that are actually hardwired to be attracted to you.
Well, that's like my college best friend. She was getting on the dating app. She was over her marriage and, her divorce. And so she was back on the apps. And one night I just grabbed her phone and I was like, let me do this.
Yeah.
And I swiped for her like she would have if she had had the gumption to. And she ended up married to the guy that I picked. Because I know her type and, I was able to cull it out and yeah, they're pretty cute. They're pretty cute.
And so she thinks she's a matchmaker all the time.
I am a matchmaker all the time. Nobody's given me the opportunity, but I think I do a great job.
But that's the bottom line, that for women, most men are invisible.
Yes.
And it's hard for guys, and the reason we tell you guys about girls' world is girls like guys who just get it. Mm-hmm. They just understand them.
Yeah.
And the more you know about how their brains work and how they see the world, because they go through the world seeing things completely different than we do, because they have different experiences, different ways of taking things in. But when you can understand that and understand where they're coming from and how they see things, one, it makes it easier to pick them up.
Yeah.
Two, there's less arguments because you don't try to get logical.
Right, right.
And three, you can talk to them in a manner that they go, God, this guy just gets it. And just the fact that you've listened to this podcast and know this, that most men are invisible, puts you in a very small category of men. Yeah. Because most guys think girls are just dudes with long hair and no dick. Yeah. That's all they think. They even forget how weak they are physically.
It's a completely different ball game.
Yeah. So that's the idea behind men. And, for guys, when you see a chick that's attractive, we don't get that physical, what you're describing. You know what I mean? Because, again, we would be walking around hard all the time.
All the time.
But, we have different degrees. We're like, she's fat, but not too fat to fuck. They just kind of like works in gradients. She's a little overweight. But I can still do this. Could my body work? Yes, I could probably pull that off. And that's how they're like moving through the world. You're like, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Now, make no mistake, I will say, because we've been pretty open also, that women are still always sizing the people up who are in front of them. Like if there's some reason that you're engaged in a conversation or an experience with someone, yes, every woman who is in your sphere has sized you up for relationship compatibility. Make no mistake. It's just in walking through the world or not having some reason for you to encounter them, then you're completely invisible.
Fascinating.
Which is why things like day game, night game, which is why these apps help, because it gets you into an engaging conversation of some kind at some level or interaction with her. So it kind of is like a
forcing mechanism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it hits that pause button and forces her to look at you for a second.
That's what the day game guys, who are a breed of their own, there's a whole section in their brain of like getting this girl to stop. Yeah. And engaging her that first 3 seconds.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. They're doing things unconsciously.
But the apps can do that too.
Yeah.
And we want you to win across the board. So
that's it.
Yeah. Have a great day. If you like this, please like, subscribe, share, comment.
Comment below.
Please jump on Forward with Playboy's newsletter. It's the coolest place to be. And if you need help with confidence or your online profiles, look down below at the links to a couple of my books. Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye.